Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
It's the After the Show podcast, precious.
We don't care, we're about to swear on the air. It's the After the Show, so tune in if you dare. KVJ, get risque every single day. It's uncensored. We can say what we want to say.
All right, here we go. Welcome to the Tuesday KVJ After the Show podcast. Welcome to it. What the hell's going on? Yeah. See everybody here?
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Got some of your emails that we'll be getting to here in just a matter of moments. Got a lot of response at the tail end of the show. We were kind of breaking down some of the different campaign songs that are out there. It's all heating up. Our good friend, Todd McDermott, is going to be hosting the Senate debate tonight.
I love Todd.
You think he's nervous?
No, he ain't nervous. He's done this many times. Bitch came from New York.
Well,
he was on the news up there. I mean, we're lucky to have somebody of his caliber in this market.
I don't think getting nervous is a bad thing, though. Sometimes it, keeps you focused, and you know that there's...
He knows he can handle it because he is very good on the fly.
Yeah.
You can't rattle that bird's cage.
No, he's very solid. And I believe his wife is also...
Yep.
She's big time into the news world.
They met in New York when he was on the news in New York, and she was one of the producers. She was more behind the scenes, and he was an anchor, and they fell in love. And she stayed in New York, and he moved down here for this job at WPBF, and then they were long distance at first, then they broke up, and then love brought them back together.
They met at work?
Yep.
See, sometimes you can meet the love of your life at work. Some jobs you're not allowed to talk anymore like that.
Yeah.
So
I say throw it.
Who are you trying to hook up with?
Nobody here. No, I'm not trying to hook up with anybody.
Why don't you throw it?
I do not. No, those days are over. I've fucked that up way too many times in my life. Every job I've done it, other than the baseball camp, and then I dated a kid's
mom
sister, and that went to shit.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Oh wow.
Don't shit what they eat, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of sayings about that. So so you got that debate is going to be going off at Palm Beach State University with Marco Rubio and Val Demings. That is a big one. That's for the Senate. Senate's going to be very big here in the midterms. And then you got the governor debate that's going to be coming up on Monday, October 21st, this coming Monday. I'm not sure where that's going to be or who's going to be hosting that. But you are going to have President Biden. He's going to be in Fort Lauderdale on November 1st. He's going to be up there talking for Charlie Crist, former governor, which is kind of confusing because he was a governor as a Republican. Now he's a Democrat. You following this, Virginia?
That is confusing.
Yeah.
Because, I think that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like everybody that's coming after him on the other side is like, wow, you used to be this. Now you're this. What are you, flip-flopper?
Yeah. Well, the fun thing that we did was they each have a campaign song, both governor candidates, gubernatorial candidates. They are looking at a song by our current governor, Ron DeSantis. It's called Sweet Florida. He got the people from Leonard Skinner, the Van Zants involved. You got Johnny Van Zant, Donnie Van Zant, and Bonnie Van Zant.
Are you kidding?
No,
Donnie and Bonnie?
Because
there's Johnny and Donnie.
Okay, that's fine.
I made up Bonnie, but somewhere there's got to be a Bonnie Van Zant, doesn't there? Yeah, if you missed it earlier, just a taste of Sweet Florida, the song that they made here for Governor Ron DeSantis. Nice old Southern rock and good old Florida band here.
The press don't like him, but it sure does get my business. He stands up for what he believes. So don't come down here trying to change things. We're doing all right in the Sunshine State. Stay out of our business, leave our gov alone.
That's right. Come on now.
And sweet
that high part, that's Bonnie.
That's Bonnie?
Yeah.
And that was Donnie?
It's Johnny, Donnie, and Bonnie.
Where the fuck's Lonnie?
Sweet home Alabama.
Yeah. It's got a little bit of that flair. They weren't
Sweet
taking any
Lord,
chances.
I'm coming home for
Yeah.
you.
Sweet home Florida.
Yeah, they weren't taking any chances there.
They didn't put a lot of effort into making the song new and different.
Well, it's funny because I was playing these. Jaber's like going, what are these, like parody songs? I'm like, no, these are their real campaign songs.
I wasn't making a political statement. I was just in the background
He
going.
heard them both. He's like,
I
did.
hope both of them were free.
he's like, what the hell is he listening to?
I don't care anymore either.
Yeah.
People are gonna fucking get on you no matter what. So
Yeah.
Get on it.
Here's Charlie Crist's campaign song.
You know we gotta get back to respecting one another if we're ever gonna get things done. From the beaches in Miami to the hills of Tallahassee, you know we all just wanna soak up that sun. You know we gotta get back to that good way of thinking where everyone's treated the same. Don't care if you're red, blue, or any other color, cause we've all got skin in this game. Bring back good old Charlie, bring him back to set things right. Like doing right by one another, like a sister and a brother, just a might. Bring back good old Charlie.
I'm just surprised how country and folksy all these songs are.
yeah, Octopus in the chat room has a good point. I agree with her. Why are they both so kind of goofy?
Yeah.
They're goofy country.
That guy sounds like he sets up at the Tiki Bar on Palm Beach Shores at that Marriott over there.
Yeah.
And plays by the pool.
And then they're pissed off that they signed him, and they go,
but
shit.
he doesn't play any covers. All he plays is all shitty originals.
And they kind of have a local feel, and he thinks that's the right way to go.
Yeah.
All right, Juno Beach.
Like, no, stop.
Well, I mean,
This is the best y'all could get.
well, the only thing for me is like you know me, I do love country, but I mean, being here in South Florida, I kind of feel like, hey, we get a say in this skin in this game too. Like, to me, the music doesn't necessarily. I mean, hey, if you're out in Loxahatchee, maybe you got that in Okeechobee. But I mean, for everybody else, it doesn't feel very representative of, hey, you're not going to forget about South Florida, right?
That last one, that's the Charlie one.
Charlie was the second one.
That's almost like 1960s on the range country.
Right. Yeah.
Davy Crockett shit.
Yeah. It's like the theme for Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah. Even that's almost too fucking hip.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting, but it definitely got a lot of people's attention.
And
They're
the other one,
talking about it.
without a doubt, is playing on the Gator.
It could be.
It's very Southern rock.
Probably. Sandy said Charlie Crist song sounds like a 70s sitcom theme song, like the Beverly Hillbillies.
It does.
Yeah.
Goofy.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of weird. Beth said, yeah, they're all trying to get the redneck vote. And yeah, that was just.
Oh, is this a calculated, purposeful thing?
Everything is calculated in politics, but that's just why, I don't know. But for me, the only statement that I got from both of them that I took away is like, yeah, they're goofy and whatever. And I don't care what you do, but I'm like, hey, y'all, you're not forgetting about us. I mean, we do matter. You're going to speak to South Florida, right? I mean, because it doesn't sound, you don't hear either one of those songs and be like, gosh, I feel like I'm in South Florida, right?
It's not cosmopolitan.
It's just not, yeah.
It's not.
They're going to come out with 2 new songs in about a month. They're going to have a Latin flair for when they're down
I'm wondering
here.
if they are. And I'm like, if they don't, I feel like we need to make it for them because I think we could do something at least as good.
Yeah, I mean, fuck.
Good old Charlie.
Florida.
Sweet Florida. Yeah, so that's what they're going for, I guess. Folksy and country.
Just get ready, Virginia, because it's all about to start up. It's all that crazy political shit.
Yeah.
Great. Can you wake me up when it's over?
They had DeSantis was in Coral Springs on Friday. He was in a parking lot. It was very odd. Yeah, he was in a parking lot.
In a parking lot? Doing what?
I think it was like in a pizza joint. He's doing a rally. I mean, there's a lot of people there. He was in a parking lot. I'm like, why do we do things in a
That's so
parking
funny because I was in a pizza parking lot this weekend. I was in a
That's
few.
what I thought. I'm like, yeah. I'm like,
You probably could have drew the same crowd.
I was looking for Jaybird. I'm like,
You wouldn't have that thing like at an amphitheater?
Jaber goes out to, that would be Jaber's luck. He goes out to get a pizza and he winds up
At a rally.
at a governor rally, and then he gets on TV and people are like, that motherfucker, I knew he's a Republican.
I knew he was right. Don't worry.
We got to deal with the whole show of trying to convince people he's not actually a Republican.
I was accused of being a Democrat and a Republican today.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. Funny
Do
stuff.
you give a shit?
Yeah,
No,
oh, yeah,
because none of us in this room are either.
Thank you, KR. It was actually a Wings Plus. That's right. I didn't have it in front of me. I forgot what it was. Yeah, Wings Plus. He's in the Wings Plus parking lot in Coral Springs on Friday. So, but yeah.
People yell at me.
That could have been me. I'd have been in the parking lot of the Wings Plus being, where the hell, what's going on here? Everybody I'm like, I know Wings is popular, but.
Well, there's a lot of buzz stuff out there in the media, and if you happen to decide or agree with anything, people who are have tunnel vision in politics will say, "Oh, Virginia, she's a Republican," or "Virginia's a Democrat," just on depending on what you say about a certain issue.
Right.
And you could just have an opinion about the fucking issue.
Right. You're not allowed to do that. You can't have an opinion about the issue. You have to be one or the other. And that's just not the way I roll in my brain. I don't roll with one party, and people keep yelling at me and telling me I'm one or the other, and I keep saying no, I'm not.
And I'm not trying to be middle of the road Mary over here. I really do have friends on all sides of the aisle.
Right.
They just some people. I try because I notice people start to get mad about it. I try to keep it light and friendly, only because I've just noticed there's no one ever wins when the debates at a party and people are drinking. It's the fucking worst. I go, guys, you guys are so drunk. You're talking about shit from the 90s.
Yeah. Well, you got 3 more weeks. So it's exactly 3 weeks from today is when it all goes down, November 8th. So you're going to see signs all over the place and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, big time.
Mm-hmm. Got an email here from Justin. He said, from yesterday's topic about people throwing things at artists, you got to look up country singer Dustin Lynch. Got hit with a beer can in the face.
Damn.
It's an older video, but it's absolutely sickening in all these cases. Sad why you would pay money to go see someone just to throw something at them. And yeah, I don't get that. It's really come out of nowhere here lately with artists getting drilled with things at their concerts. There's at least 3 that I can think of. Lady Gaga being one. I know somebody chucked something at her.
People are blaming Will Smith.
Yeah, he's out. He's now.
I'm sort of kidding, but as soon as that happened, there was a big conversation about how people are going to start doing shit to people on stage because it just seems to be the trend, and some shit's been going on like that. I'm not saying that it hasn't always been that way,
right?
And maybe it seems more prevalent now because we knew what happened with Will Smith. But you have that one story with the girl with the beer, that comedian. They threw the beer.
Yeah, threw the beer at her, and then you had just had Harry Styles yesterday got hit in the dick with a water bottle.
Dave Chappelle got fucking tackled. There was that one guy speaking who got stabbed in the eye.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and people going, fuck around and find out that a lot of these artists are kind of getting sick of touring. I was reading an article about that the other day, and it kind of makes sense. You had, he's the real breathy, Sean, whatever his name was, that canceled his tour. Shawn Mendes.
Yeah, he had an emotional breakdown. He said, F it. I'm not touring. I can't handle it.
Well, they're just kind of saying that the strain on a lot of these people now with, I guess it is an emotional wreck. I mean, I remember all the way back when I was a kid. You remember the video for Wanted Dead or Alive with Bon Jovi, and it showed them. A lot of it was because they were already touring really hard for Slippery When Wet.
They're exhausted.
Yeah, and it just kept showing them just really wiped out from it. Because, I mean, it does. I mean, you're pouring your heart and soul and your energy into it, especially those guys. If you watch The Dirt with Motley Crue, then, Tommy Lee's out partying until 10 in the morning, and then you try to rebound and do it even if you're young.
Oh, it would exhaust you.
It wears on you, yeah.
It would. Well, I mean, just partying alone is going to make you exhausted. Then you have to go every night and play 3+ hours,
right?
And then also at you have to. You're stressed out if shit's going to go right or wrong with the sound and all that.
Well, and I think some of these artists, I think it's a little bit different for them now because as an artist, you're on stage. I'm not sure they necessarily party. I mean, they still party, but I don't know that it is what it was in the 70s and 80s.
They party.
You think they still party that level?
I do. I just don't think. I don't think it's as open. I think people have tightened up their shit because of social media.
Okay.
But yes, definitely celebrities go out there.
Trashing hotel rooms and all that.
Not that kind of stuff because they couldn't get away with that.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about more of the drugs and fucking and all that.
That's what I think. That's why I think it's become a little bit more businesslike and a little bit more pressurized, at least according to the article that I was reading, because the one thing that's different is you say something or something happens at a concert now, it's tough enough that you're playing for a crowd of 10 to 20,000 people, but then you always have the videos come out, or you have to control a crowd and you have to now have the responsibility as an artist on stage that if you notice somebody falling out, that it's now your responsibility to make sure you stop the show and do it all right after what happened, last year in Houston.
There's a fuck ton of stories, too, of bands back in the day, and I wonder if this still goes down, where they would have groupies underneath the stage and during intermission.
That was a Def Leppard story.
That's a lot of their stories. Well, not only would they be getting, blow pieces, Virginia, but they're doing the Tudorowski, the nose candy, that I'm sure no one's surprised, but it's more about the having sex underneath the stage and doing all that stuff. Does that still go down during the concert? I don't know if it does.
Yeah, I don't. It would be interesting to see somebody who.
How exhausting would that be?
Oh my gosh! Okay, here's one dead or alive. Right. Oh, fuck!
You gotta do blow.
You would have to do blow after your blow.
Oh my gosh!
It'd be interesting to hear. Yeah, where are they? Somebody who saw both. Somebody who saw a little bit of the 70s and 80s, and then today, and. Where exactly what life on the road is truly like and what's going on with some of these artists. Because, the article was all about how many artists have recently canceled and called off tours. Bieber did his. He just, he had the medical issue with his face, and then it was just too much of a grind, he had said, and he just needed to rest. And so, it's kind of interesting. So some of these artists getting hit in the dick with water bottles and then, just saying.
Like, fuck it.
Yeah, I think they are. And I think a lot of them are saying, you notice how many bands now are just trying to do a residency?
Yeah.
Because they just don't want to travel and do
residency
all that stuff.
Sounds
and it just,
awesome.
Yeah, it just wears on you.
Music has lost its heart. Yeah, I get it.
It just doesn't seem to have the same kind of grind that it used to.
Look. People that go up there and play live and nail it, that's never going to go away. And it's still going to, musicians are going to want to do that. I see what you're saying. They're going to want to get the residency, but there are some that's going to want to stay true.
Yeah, I think it might change a little bit. And, for Florida, I'm a little bit worried because there's already a lot of tours that don't come down to us.
Amen.
I just even saw there was a Journey Toto tour that was announced. I looked, and they're only dipping their toe. They're going to Jacksonville, and that's it. That's the only Florida date they have. And that's just the latest example today of there are a lot of bands that just they don't want to drive the extra 5 or 6 hours from Jacksonville down to South Florida or Miami, whatever. And they're like, screw it. We'll just hit Jacksonville and then kind of keep going across the country.
And
if y'all want to see us, y'all got to drive north.
Right, yeah.
That's why I'm pumped. In January, bone, 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 bone. Tell me what you gonna do,
okay.
And I will buy y'all tickets if you want to go.
Bone Thugs, huh?
I already got 3 people going with me.
Okay.
You guys don't, man. No fucking respect for Bone.
No, I'm sorry. We don't love it like you.
I don't get it. All right, fuck it. Yeah. No Bone for you.
2 pretty decent songs.
2, get out of here. They've got at least 6 bangers.
Okay.
Major bangers.
All right.
They do. Y'all don't fuck with Bone, so I'm gonna stop talking about Bone. Okay. I think I lost the room and the audience.
You need to take your bone and go home.
But the last thing I'll say is I don't think y'all give Bone the respect they deserve. They were a lot bigger in the game than you guys are saying.
Okay.
They really were.
Who's how many Bone Thugs and Harmony members can you name?
All of them.
Okay, let me hear them.
Lazy Bone, Crazy Bone, Wishbone, Busy Bone. Mm-hmm. How many did I just name? And Flesh Bone.
Dizzy Bone.
Busy, Crazy, Lazy, Flesh and Bone.
Droopy.
No.
Sneezy and Doc.
I think I named them all.
If you had Droopy Bone, I know an endorsement you could do.
He would do great with the blue pill.
Yes, he would.
Droopy Bone?
Yes.
Get that bitch Viagra.
Limp Bone?
Not as intimidating of a bone.
No, not quite. Let me see other stuff we got going on here today. Got an email from Mandy. Said you guys were talking about how you found out that your parents were cheating. My mom had a best friend. We called her Aunt L. So close. Isn't that funny how your parents would always try to make like their best friend your aunt or uncle or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, so Aunt L's husband had left her, and so here she was living by herself with all kinds of like little things like fixing the mowers and fans and all that kind of stuff. And so my mom would send my dad over, and all of a sudden, for some reason, my parents decided to split. I was about 10, and my dad was apparently going off on his own. My mom stuck to her guns and never went back to Dad. And then one weekend, Dad brought my younger sister out for a weekend with him and his new girlfriend. My mom didn't know he had a new girlfriend. When my little sister comes home and says how she went swimming with Dad and Aunt L.
Oh, boy.
Oh, shit.
And that's how she found out that her best friend was banging her husband.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a rough go right there.
And with the separation, divorce, and now Dad and Aunt L are still together. I'm 35. They're now married, and Mom and Aunt L hate each other.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
With good reason.
I would think so. Aunt L. Crazy, huh? Now, Ruthie, she talked about the stories that we'd brought up, just kind of creating awareness. There was a gas station that this mom had made a TikTok video about with a creep that had came up and asked her daughter to help him with his gas lever.
Yes.
She said, just beware. Guys have creepy requests that are going on. We'd had another from next door of a guy that tried to tell a woman that this is her $10, and he tried to come out and say, oh, no, you picked up my mom's money, and let me see what you got in your wallet. And she's like, no, I'm freaked out.
I thought about that story a lot. I thought you had a really good point because it didn't make any sense. And I think that's why they did that, to really kind of confuse the person and be like, what the fuck, what?
It's not going to make any sense.
Yeah.
But that's what they want to do. They want to get you all confused and thinking about it so they can bum rush you, and you're not thinking about that.
And you're probably just going, I just want to get out of this situation. Here's the 20, and then they bum rush you.
When you go in your wallet to give them that 20 back is when they see if you have any other money, and they just take your whole wallet.
And you're lucky if that's all they want was your money.
Right.
Seems to be one of the tactics. If they did a seminar on how to scam somebody, it's that you have to confuse and disorient. That's got to be one of the key factors. And if you ever notice yourself and somebody seems to be spinning you around into a state of confusion,
yeah,
increase your awareness.
Everybody I
you might
talk
be in
to
it.
has me in a state of confusion.
Girl, it's because you're going through the change of life. And happy national, or it might be international, happy International Menopause Day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
I am
Wow.
over here celebrating my ass off.
Yeah.
I keep taking my jacket off and putting it on, and taking it off and putting it on. I have about 3 hot flashes an hour now.
I know. People are texting me about it.
They are?
They are. I've had people text me during the show going, what's wrong with Virginia? Is she having a hot flash? She's moving around fanning herself? I'm like, y'all, don't text me about it.
It's real. I'm trying to get the meds, but yeah, it's real.
So you're officially going all in and saying this is menopause?
Definitely. Definitely.
Wow. So
I went yesterday and did the blood work, and so the blood work will be back in 1 week.
what about the week of panda pounding? Is that off the charts? Because he's on the testosterone now.
I know, and he's been fishing around, but we haven't been able to.
He ain't getting no fish.
He ain't got no fish yet.
He ain't getting no snapper.
Whoa.
He did not snap that snapper.
He didn't get no snap. Motherfucker's all charged up.
He's ready. He's like,
How
okay.
blue are his balls?
He told me in the car, he's like, you better brace yourself soon.
Man.
This is not the right time for this.
I know.
Oh my God.
We're going in the opposite directions on Lover's Lane.
I'm legitimately concerned for your vagina.
Thank you.
And I mean
That's
that with,
tough.
I mean that with love.
I appreciate you being worried about my hoo-ha.
Yeah, so Ruthie told a story about how she got on a flight. She was in between a woman and an older man, early 80s. She said, I'm 35, wife, mother of 3 boys. Started off with like a nice grandpa kind of like conversation, talking about his family and all that kind of stuff. And then it gravitated into ex-wives and his very young girlfriends and then bragged about his ability to get an erection.
Oh, boy. Okay. All right. No one wants to hear that you can still pop a boner, Grandpa.
Yeah, she just said, it just feels like these are the kind of situations that women get in. I don't see men as often getting into these kind of situations. And it was tough. And she's like, why did I feel guilty when I put in my headphones to try to get out of the conversation? And she was like, when I did, the woman next to me, I felt her squeeze my hand because she was, I guess she heard it and just like, I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
Grandpa boners.
Dude, come on, man.
Although it makes a great punk rock band name.
Well, when Grandpa starts talking about his boner, that's when you immediately counter with details about your menstrual cycle. You got to fight fire with fire, girl. I would not have put on my headphones. I would have immediately started telling him all about my bleeding issues.
But it's weird too. I mean, and I'm not saying it works all the time because clearly it doesn't. But some motherfuckers do this shit because they've never been called out.
Right.
They've never been called out. And getting called out can be embarrassing. And sometimes you don't realize you're such a fucking asshole.
And he probably doesn't. He's old school. He's always talked to women this way. And so he's just doing what he's always done. But you got to check this man and tell him, hey, let me give you something inappropriate and see how you like it.
There are just certain people who either maybe they haven't been called out in the right way, but they skate by the being called out. And they get away with shit. It shouldn't go down that way.
It's a day of reckoning.
That's right. Team Texas.
Got a suggestion here for Do It Bitch from Kelly. She said, Do It Bitch is my favorite bit, but I think you should make 2 changes.
What?
Okay. We all know Suits rocks at this game, so I think you should have to draw to see who is going to gamble or guess along with who will be your partner. This would also eliminate the time it takes Virginia to decide on who's going to guess or gamble.
We figured it out quick.
Yeah.
You really got to take that, though. It's been almost a year of you we've wasted so much airtime of you want to gamble? I don't know, kid.
Fuck you. Building suspense, bitch.
Fuck you, say.
Build that suspense.
I hear you. That's a slow burn. I get it.
Yeah, well, Virginia was quick on, I think we've alleviated that problem, and Suits actually was a loser today, so I don't know that that applies. You never know. Suits doesn't always...
It's about the topics, because if you throw a topic at me that I can't do, like a lot of them that you've thrown at me, like...
I think I will say this, though. The one thing I think we should do, I think we should have a brainstorming meeting for punishments. I think if we get together in a room for 10 or 15 minutes, we eat a lot of gross shit all the time. I like when Evelyn came in and was beating people up. I like when there's different punishments.
Okay.
Am I off on that?
No, you're not
I think
off.
that's a fair critique.
I don't know. It's kind of weird, though, if Evelyn kicks my ass.
Weird's such a broad term. You know what I mean? Weird. What is weird?
I think what's interesting about it, I'd like to see, because I think different teams play in different ways, because I'm always having to try to now analyze. And as I sit over here and try to figure out, okay, who does what well, I notice, some people are good gamblers, some people are good at the responses. Suits, I think, is the best when it comes. I would rank him number 1 at responses. Virginia, I think, now has probably become number 2.
Fuck show you watching
on that. I'm coming off of 2 big losses with you, dog.
Well,
I got to see that firsthand. I'm like, what?
We won today. We were on fire.
Yeah.
You burnt Reggie.
Burnt me again today because I didn't go with you. Yeah, so 3 weeks in a row.
Or did the bird throw it on purpose? No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
No, I did not.
We're not that calculated.
No, I want to win everything on the show.
Everybody here wants to win.
I want to win everything on this show.
But I think Denny's might be actually the worst gambler.
He is not good at the game.
He doesn't seem to nail that well.
He's good at everything in life, but do it, bitch.
Right, so I'm trying to...
I don't want to tell him that, but he's
I'm trying to kind of figure out where everybody is. So maybe we can start breaking down teams and who does what, because there's got to be stats by all of them.
On either side of the coin. It's not good for Denny's.
So that's what makes it interesting, because you're not just going on one person, because it is a teamed event. You could have something where you have Suits and Denny's, arguably the best player with the worst gambler. And what happened today? That team lost because Denny's kept putting Virginia in situations. I'm like, I don't think it's high enough, dog. And Virginia, bam, bam, kept nailing it. So, he took his boy out of the mix.
It all depends on the topic, too. There was one time Suits got boats or ships stuff that he knew about. If you know the topic, sometimes you can go
Well,
off.
but the topic's already out there
I
when
know,
Denny's
I know.
is pushing the gambling, and it's like you got to know Virginia's going to go higher than what you just laid it at.
I love boats. I love water. I love everything.
Exactly. I knew he laid that too low for you.
But so does he. Suits and me in a boat off is a good one.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, when he went with what he went with, I'm like, Virginia's easily going to get this, and you did. You cleared the bar by like 3 or 4. So I'm like, it's not nearly high enough because she's going to crush it. And so, yeah, so it's interesting when you had the best responder, Suits was out of the game the entire time. It's almost kind of like in football, it's the same thing. You have a coach and the players. The gamblers like the coach, and then he kept his boy on the sideline the entire game.
Yeah,
as a
I had the
coach.
ball.
Yeah, he gave you the ball, gave the ball to the other team. He didn't. His asset was Suits.
I was
kept
the
him
offense.
on the bench. Kept him on the bench the entire time, and he wound up losing.
Chat room saying we're being too hard on Denny's. Chat room, don't you remember the rule? If someone's not in the studio, they get fucking trash. That's how it goes.
I'll stand by it, though. That's why I like to see the numbers.
I do the
That's why I
same.
like to see the numbers.
I do the same shit if Kevin wasn't in the room.
Yeah, I'd say it to his face. He's in there. I know he can hear.
He's a big boy. He can handle it.
Trust me, this is not the harshest stuff we have to go through.
Fuck that guy on the phone. The people that call Denny's that yell at him.
Yeah, I think the numbers would back me up. If we had anyone, if we ever had the time to go back through the times when Denny's, I'd like to see what his record is when he's the gambler in a team.
Okay.
So, and if I were breaking down game film and I were coaching him on Do It Bitch, I'd be like, I think you need to get more comfortable with trying to push it. You have to really analyze and be like, come on, man, you know Virginia's going to crush this topic. 7 ain't enough.
Well, there's some topics when it does go to 8 or 9, you almost have to go, well, I know she can name 9, so.
But you just got to hope your brain doesn't lock up.
And that's what will
because
happen.
that happens. Like, you'll get through 5 and you'll feel great. And then all of a sudden, like, my brain just locks up and I can't remember anything else. And you have to hope you get past that lock.
And I've also found out you really can't get many more than 11 or 12 in. So you have to know that that's about where, I mean, that's.
We've never gone that
We've
high.
never got 11.
I think we have gone 11.
I want to.
I think I remember an 11.
You want to argue with Kevin still?
Kind of.
All right, I want to argue as well. Yes, Kevin, you are wrong.
We're
Yeah,
officially.
I feel like we've done
11 doesn't
Yeah.
seem.
I don't think we've gone over 10.
Yeah, I believe so. Suits, you remember we ever done an over 10 on a Do It Bitch? You don't think so? I'd like to check and see. I'm going to have to dig back and do some numbers on that.
Yeah, that sounds like a terrible task. First of all, second of all, I think you're wrong, Stin, on this one.
Okay.
Because 11, I would have remembered.
Yeah, 11 is so balls. We
I
would
don't
have.
think, I
We
don't
would
think
have
anyone's
made.
no one's gotten 10.
No one's gotten 10.
We've gotten 9.
We've gone
Okay,
9.
gone 9.
We've gone
Okay.
to 9.
All right.
But once you start going into double digits, now you're going faster than 1 per second, and my brain can't go that fast. I will hit a mental speed bump.
Even if you had to do Buckeyes players, that it's just something you know very well. Once you get double digits, it's hard.
Yeah, and sometimes even someone like that, there's too much recall that you'd have to go through.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah, I'd probably choke on that. I'd probably get to 5 and be like, I don't know. Yeah, that's tough. So let me see. The second suggestion is to have Kevin pick a team before the names are drawn of who will be partnered up. Example, it's Virginia's turn to draw her partner. Kevin has to decide if he's on Virginia's team or the opponent's before she draws her partner. I think this would add even more excitement to the game. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. The only thing about that is
That's
that,
Kevin saying
well,
no.
the thing I like is I like the 2-part of this.
Right, because once you know who the established team is,
Yeah.
then based on what you know about the game, you get to put an educated guess.
Strongest team is Virginia in suits.
Oh, if you playing me in suits, you gonna lose.
Danny, Josh, do you hear this
gonna
horse shit?
Yeah, we need to put this together. I need to go back through and I need to
Fuck.
start writing this down.
You believe this shit, Denny's?
Yeah.
Oh, Texarado got up.
Because I think we've played enough now that there's going to be some truths coming through the numbers. You can play the stats game, and me, the person who has to every week decide who to go with, that's what I'm thinking about. So if I get the numbers, I'd be like, okay, here's what the stats tell me. Here's Denny's record as a gambler, as a player, and here's the strongest team by record. And then I'll be like, okay, the odds are either not in my favor, or they are.
Insulting shit, dog, going on in here. Insulting
Just truth,
shit.
man. It's
Insulting.
just truth.
Josh, you don't even want to hear it.
It's just truth. That's all this is.
Oh, I want it to be.
You gotta have your big boy pants to be on around here because we're spitting some truth right now.
Oh, I fucking want the witch and that newbie suits so bad on a fucking platter.
Yeah.
Oh, I want it.
I'll have to go and start putting this together here.
Now it's personal. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, you guys are fucked.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Get that controversy stirred. I like it.
Yeah. So we'll get it going here. We got Justin. He said, it's a fun little bit. You have 4 taps at your restaurant or bar. What beers do you put on tap? I went into a wing-style restaurant, and they had Shock Top, Yingling, Miller Lite, and Coors Light. None of them were really my favorite, but it brought up a good question. Yeah, I mean, honestly, for them, that's probably pretty strong because the one thing I learned when we had the KVJ beers, you got to go with the biggest sellers. And
Right.
for me, a lot of times, I'm a craft beer guy. I'd be like, well, gosh, really? And oddly enough, it's like Bud Light or Budweiser or something like that.
You're right.
You have to have it. Like, I'm not a Budweiser guy, but Budweiser is like the king of beers, numbers-wise.
You have to have either Bud Light, Coors Light, or Miller Light. If you don't have one of those, you might as well go home.
Right, yeah.
Anytime I have a gathering, people get so pissed off. At least half of the people there go, oh man, fucking craft beer. They get annoyed.
Yeah.
Not everyone's down. I think the podcast we used to do with the beer blinded me in thinking everyone's into these, and they're not. People
No.
fucking hate a lot of them.
And the numbers are small. I mean, really, of the whole beer drinking universe, the craft beers are relatively small.
Which
in that
blows
game.
my mind because I just love craft beer so much more.
Yeah.
I get it though. There's some of them are such BIs, Virginia. Bully ingredients, dog.
Bitchy ignorance.
We won today as a team, and now we are torn apart.
No.
Because Kevin stirred this shit up.
I did, yeah.
Because now me and Joshua
Spun you around, got you going.
sandwich. That's what I want.
Yeah, but I think Virginia's right. It probably even depends upon what neighborhood you're in as to what you need to put up. Because, if you're in a trendy, Fort Lauderdale neighborhood, you're somewhere, around there, Fat Village, you got to have probably your hipster beers. If you're in Wynwood, you got to have the hipster beers.
Totally.
That's going on. That's where you're going to get your craft stuff. But, if you're in Davie or
At a
Loxahatchee,
Duffy's.
it's going to be different in Wellington.
If you got a Duffy's, you better have all the generic beers. You better have everything. Bud Light, Miller Light, Coors Light.
The last party I had, all of the Bud Light was gone. Everything, all of the IPAs and all of these craft
Oh,
beers.
good, yeah.
All the ones that some of them hang really heavy on your tongue.
Yeah, no, they do.
And that's kind of shitty.
And they're not necessarily, that was the one thing, with the craft, it's not necessarily something you drink all day long. It's something that you have like a beer, maybe two. And if you are out drinking all day, then you want something else. Like for me, my go-to beer, that beer's Corona for me. I go Corona, Corona Light, something like that. That'd be mine. If you're in Boca, you probably have to have Stella Artois, on tap, or Heineken, something like that. That's probably going to play there.
Oh, the one I was getting down on this one. I realized I was basically drinking liquid pound cake. It was so many fucking calories.
Butter beer.
Oh my gosh! I was looking. I go 500 calories per beer. Shit.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting. If I were opening up a bar, that would be the one thing. I'd probably even just do a survey like, okay, what beers do you have to have? And I would go with the most populars because you got to play the hits, man.
You're right.
Kind of like on RMF. I feel like I'm playing a lot of Budweiser. But,
You're playing Bud Light.
Bud Light, yeah, you're right. I'm playing Bud Light. You're right. It's not even Budweiser. Yeah, we started off with the campaign songs. Those are Budweisers. Yeah, but that's it. But you got to play the hits, man. It's not necessarily what you particularly are going to put on yourself. If you want that, go home, listen to your own music, drink your own damn beer. But if you're playing for the masses, put on what they want.
Go home, play your original music. It's like when a band goes to a bar and they want to play all their original songs. And people go, fuck, we want the covers.
Right.
You
True.
gotta know the
That's
audience.
People want to
Play the
drink
hits.
and sing along. And if you're playing all of your original stuff, they don't want that.
I mean,
unless they know your band really well.
That's different. If you
That's
got a
different.
following, but yeah, typically you want to throw in a lot of covers. You always sneak one in because
I know.
your loved ones are there. Like, oh, come on, Virginia, let me hear your original.
Play the one you wrote for me.
Yeah.
So everybody else can go pee because they don't like it.
Crazy.
Yeah. And Lily brought up in the chat room, she said, yeah, Stella Artois, it's a Belgian beer, and there they tell you not to drink it. And it's odd because the two people I've known from different countries where their beers are popular, got a good friend of mine, remember Olivier, who used to be our intern. He's in Belgium. We still connect a good bit and talk. And he said the same thing. He's like, Stella Artois is like our shit beer here. He's like, nobody drinks Stella. It's like, if you do, you look down. It's like, think about whatever our shit beer is, like maybe, I don't know, Keystone
Natty
Light or
Light.
Natty. Yeah, it's like their Natty Light. And here it's set up as you go out to Polo and they have Stella Artois.
Oh, Stella.
And everybody's like drinking, look at us drinking this. And he was so blown away when he was here and interning for us. He's like, why are these fancy events serving Stella? It was just so odd. It'd be like us going to Belgium and they're like, natural light. And you'd be like, what the hell are they
It's
doing?
so natural. It's so light.
Right, yeah. And back when I was in high school, it was that way with, what's the Aussie beer?
Foster's.
Foster's.
Yeah.
He called, he's like, this is piss. He's like, what do you guys drink? He's like, this is an Australian beer. And I'm
It's
like,
marketing.
yeah. I was like, no way. He's like, nobody in Australia drinks Foster's.
What was their slogan? Foster's.
No rules, just right. Or is that Outback?
That's Outback, but it was Foster's beer. But
Australian for
that's
beer.
right.
Australian for beer.
And he saw that ad. He was like, bullshit.
Bullshit.
He's like, it's not Australian for beer.
See, it's marketing. It should
It
be
was.
Australian for marketing.
Yeah, so the two international beers, at least what I used to think were international beers, both those countries actually hate their beers.
Do you remember the beer? And I'm not. Maybe it's not around anymore. Ice House.
Yes.
I do remember that, yeah.
It was like a stronger
yeah.
domestic beer.
That's why you would you go to the ale house and you would get pictures of Ice House because it was the stronger beer, and you would get just figgity fucked up at the ale house, man. Seeing three of people.
Feels like they give you a really bad hangover, too.
It was not a good day after ever.
I see 6 boobs.
Yes, which was pretty awesome.
It's a girl with an udder. I don't know how hot that is.
After a couple pictures of that, everyone's hot.
Yeah. So anyway. All right. Thank you always for the emails. You can get them through to us. Just go mail@kvjshow.com. Y'all enjoy your Tuesday. We'll see you later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.